Hi, my name is Jennifer Simons, and I am the Literacy Coordinator at Eastside Elementary School in Shelbyville, Tennessee. I did my professional development on SMART goal setting, and I plan to share with you why I chose this, what is SMART goal setting all about, and how my presentation went. So SMART goal setting, for those of you who aren't familiar with SMART goal setting, the acronym stands for Specific, Measurable, Achievable, Relevant, and Timely Goals that are intended to increase student achievement. The goal of this professional development was to introduce the teachers at Eastside to SMART goals and to share the research that I found that proves that when used effectively, SMART goals can increase student achievement. The information in the professional development would help teachers create their classroom environments that are conducive to learning so that all students, especially those that are economically disadvantaged, because the school that I teach at is 95% economically disadvantaged students with a high population of ELs. So the main goal here was to motivate teachers to have a positive environment in their classrooms and encourage those students to take ownership of their learning, to have that sort of culture where students are empowered to take over their learning. Students who are academically grade levels behind should also have an educational experience where teachers believe in the students. So just to motivate students to find their why they do what they do. And if that is they do what they do because of the students at Eastside, well, then that's great. But by using SMART goals, they can achieve student achievement and hopefully see the culture in their classroom change and shift towards everyone taking ownership of their learning. The statement of the problem is closing the literacy achievement gap. I know at Eastside, our TCAP scores were not that great, and a lot of that is attributed to we have a very low teacher morale at the time. It's not necessarily because of the leadership at the school, but I think district-wide, it's always one more thing, and teachers just feel a little overwhelmed, along with district initiatives and state initiatives as well for everything that they need to do. And, when a teacher's not motivated themselves, then that doesn't leave much for the classroom and what's going on in the classroom. So my goal was for this professional development, was to just show them what SMART goal setting could do, show them the research, and hopefully once they saw the research and the process and what it could do for students, get on board and start implementing these at Eastside. The technology that I used for my presentation, I used a Nearpod presentation all throughout the presentation. We used it for them to answer open-ended questions. They had multiple choice questions. It was just a way that I felt like would engage everyone and get them talking with each other, and so that we could see everyone's ideas, not just mine. It was a way of sharing all those ideas so that it wasn't just about what I thought, but for them to share their thoughts as well. I used the PowerPoint for all the information that I used to share with teachers and staff. And I used several YouTube videos for motivation purposes and to show them what SMART goal setting actually looks like in the classroom. Some of the barriers that I encountered, of course, I talked about before, were low teacher morale. Again, like I say, my main goal going into this professional development was concentrating on how can I make this professional development where they leave and say, wow, I want to do that. This is something exciting that I believe my students can do and I can help them with. So just engaging them and motivating them to buy into setting SMART goals for their students in their classroom. So just overcoming that low morale was a big feat. some of the revisions that I had to make when I practiced my professional development. It was quite large because, I talked about, what SMART goal setting was, and then just the whole process of starting and implementing SMART goals is a big process and really too much for one PD. So I had to scale back and kind of edit and talk about the things that I felt were most important, and decided that I would follow up with another professional development later on so that hopefully I wouldn't overwhelm them too much, because like I say, my goal was to get them to buy into SMART goal setting in their classroom, so I didn't want to overwhelm them too much. I also needed to tweak my Nearpod presentation. Several people had trouble with the Nearpod. I've only used Nearpod a couple of times, so I probably need to practice a little more with it. But that was some of the comments that the teachers made, is I just needed to just tweak the things that kind of went wrong with the Nearpod or the technology, the computers that were used that day. So this is kind of the steps that I went with my professional development. This is kind of where we started and where we ended up. I introduced the SMART goals to everyone, and I talked about why they should use them, what the research says. I shared several pieces of research that showed the student achievement that they could have if they use SMART goals effectively. I shared a motivational video of why you need to motivate your students and, just to motivate them. I also went over the process, again, which I talked about there will definitely be a follow-up video, but I did go over the process and the stages and the steps of implementing SMART goals in the classroom, along with real videos of real teachers using them in their classroom, which in the comments, some of them said they appreciated, because seeing it in action really helped them to understand and grasp what SMART goals would look like in their classroom. I also shared several ways that once students meet their SMART goals, how to celebrate student success. And I shared, that they should be small. The SMART goals should be done in small increments of time, and that they should absolutely celebrate success with students, because those students who are low achieving students sometimes don't get praise for things that they do. So this is a great way to celebrate those kids that would probably not otherwise get any kind of praise or success or awards or anything like that. I had them work in groups to create their own SMART goal, which they had great discussions with each other, and they shared them with everybody. And then I shared my why I believe SMART goal setting can be created with student achievement. I got a little emotional, because the reason I believe SMART goal setting can increase student achievement is because it worked with my own daughter who had a learning disability. So got a little emotional there, but I felt like I needed to share my why so they understood that I just wasn't up there talking about something that I didn't believe in, that it did mean something to me. And I did get some comments about how they appreciated me opening up and sharing my why. The last thing I did is I shared a motivational video to demonstrate knowing your why. And a lot of people really commented on how they enjoyed it as well. This is the video. I'm not going to really show it right now, but if you've never watched it, it's you can Google Michael Jr. Comedy, Know Your Why. And if you've never watched this video, I highly encourage you to watch it. It's a great video. My evaluation results. I used a survey where questions were ranked from 1 to 5. 1 is strongly agree and 1 is strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. In the overall section, the questions, everyone scored me a 4 or a 5. And then the professional development practices questions, everyone also scored me a 4 or 5, and I got 1-3. But overall, the comments were very positive. A lot of the teachers had never used Nearpod before, so they were glad to have the new information about SMART goals, but also took away using this engagement tool of Nearpod in their classroom. They were excited to get SMART goals started in their classroom was what a lot of them said, but wanted my support, which I was happy to offer. Motivating students to take ownership of their learning. There were several comments that were excited about doing that with their students. And I was, hesitant in sharing my why and getting a little emotional with them, but lots of teachers commented that they appreciated me sharing my why in order to motivate them and showing the video of finding your why, knowing your why. So my next steps, and I've talked about throughout the video, is to create a follow-up PD as maybe a refresher or to dig deeper into what SMART goal setting looks like in their classroom, and just, like I say, dig a little deeper into the next steps. Work with teachers in their classroom, those teachers that emailed me and said, hey, could you come to my classroom and let's get this started. So to see those teachers and work with those teachers and help them get either SMART goals started or continuing in their classrooms. My last goal, or my next step actually, is to continue SMART goals with my students. And as I share my data results and I share student celebrations, it's my hope that teachers will get on board and see the change that is happening with these students and how they're motivated so that then they want to implement them into their classrooms. That is the end of my video. Thank you for watching, and I want to wish you all a very big congratulations. I know you've all worked hard, and I wish you all the best.